Hi there, so we are ready to get into our very first lesson in using VDMX. So I've got VDMX open here. Now, a lot of people, they tend to use other software than VDMX off the bat. What I've encountered is most people will start out with something like Resolume or Modulate, and they will realize that there are limitations to those programs, that those programs are okay for just doing regular A/B mixing, but they may want to do something more challenging. They may want to do something more interactive or using more screens, or they may want to just push the limit and do something that's a little bit more custom and less of a preset basic A/B mixing environment. And then they generally wind up graduating to VDMX. Why do they not start using VDMX right off the bat? Well, a lot of people, when they open VDMX, they see an interface that looks like this and they get confused. They say, what is this? How do I work this? How do I make this work? Well, there's a really good reason why they've chosen this type of arrangement in VDMX. And the reason for that is that it's designed this way intentionally so that you can design and program your own visual instrument. And that instrument is going to have its own layout. It's going to have its own priorities, and you can use all these tools within VDMX to build all of the components of that video instrument. So think of VDMX as an instrument. Don't think of it as a production tool. It's really more of an instrument. You'll notice that it doesn't have a timeline like most nonlinear editors or compositing software. So really it's all about the moment. It's all about what's happening right now. So it's a tool that you can use for live performance and recording. Now, you actually can use VDMX as more of a production tool, although that's not its primary focus. So in level 2, we will be looking at strategies for using VDMX more as a studio tool. But right now, we're really focused on creating a visual instrument and recording our performances, and that's really our focus here in level 1. So VDMX works similar to a modular video synthesizer, or I'm sure you are familiar with the concept of modular design from audio. So let's look at some of these presets that they have. They give you a bunch of different layouts. They're called templates. They give you different layouts that may have some interesting suggestions for how you may want to arrange things in VDMX. So let's start out by looking at this thing called the 4-channel mixer. Let's see the window here. Okay, so this is a... Now these templates are all highly editable, so you can basically take these layouts and edit upon them and change them around. So you may find one of these layouts is ideal for what you want to start with, and then just go in and start modifying them. So this might be a good place to start with some projects here. So let's see another one. This, I'm not going to look at all of them, but I'll show you some things. For example, here's something where, this is quite different from, this is all about, well, I think maybe I need to, well, let's just look through a couple of these different templates. You'll see there are different layouts, there are different plugins going on here. There's all kinds of different stuff for each one of these. This one is actually designed to send out DMX values. So this is designed for collaboration with Lighting Console. So basically you can use VDMX in conjunction with lighting, with just about anything. You can go in and out of it. So anyway, this gives you an idea. Here's a whole bunch of different effects, different layouts, and so you get a sense of some of the different layouts you can approach in VDMX. So the thing that's so incredible about VDMX is that it's extensible. So basically you can build a full-blown rig just using all the built-in tools that they have, and there's even a way that you can create a custom tool, so you can, like, this is something that they built from scratch. So there's actually an environment where you can build your own little panels, put in all kind of buttons and sliders, and configure everything and really customize everything however you want to. So you can build your own rig using their built-in tools. You can also use OSC, DMX, and MIDI, which are 3 different kinds of machine protocols that will send control data in and out of VDMX to other software and other devices. So you can use MIDI, OSC, and DMX to communicate with a lighting board, with a MIDI controller, with a wireless device, with all kinds of, you could use it to communicate with Ableton Live, or even with a hardware synth or some kind of hardware rack equipment. So you can basically send signals in and out of VDMX between other software or between other hardware. And then lastly, you can use something called Siphon, which has really greatly expanded the capabilities of VDMX, because what Siphon will do will take a signal and pass it through from any of these applications here that you see on the right. These are all different kind of VJ applications, plus a whole bunch of things that do generative visuals, that do edge blending and projection mapping, and all kinds of things. You can even use it with After Effects. So Siphon will highly expand the capability of VDMX. So basically anything that you can't do built in with VDMX, there is a solution for bringing it in, either using the machine protocols, MIDI, OSC, and DMX, or using Siphon. So something to keep in mind is that working in VDMX actually is programming. It's not like a full-blown application that you may be used to. There are some things about it that are a little bit more, let's say, it's not quite as user-friendly as some of the other software that you may be used to. So one of the things that you'll find is that there's no undo. Command-Z doesn't work. You can't undo anything. So the way to get around that is you always want to save your iterations. So let's say you're working on something and you like it, and you want to say save project, and then so I'll call this test, and then let's say you add another layer, and you add some effects, and then you like this, and then you want to do update preset and save project as, and then you can do test 2. And I would just constantly do this all the time. I would just always be saving, because you never know what's going to happen. You may be working in one thing and you may have broken something, and then you may need to go back. And sometimes things are a little mysterious in VDMX. So I would make sure to save lots of iterations of your work, because you never know when you may need to go back and rebuild something, start from scratch. So not start from scratch, but start with the previous iteration. So save. Always save iterations of everything. The other thing is that there's no real copy-paste as we know it. So there are ways to move things around within VDMX, and we'll get into that, but it doesn't work in the same simple way that you may be used to, just Command-C and Command-V. And then lastly, you will be crashing. This is all about pushing the limits of visual performance. So if you're trying to do anything ambitious, let's say with a number of layers or a number of effects or a number of interesting behaviors that are happening, or you're passing signals back and forth, something's going to happen in the background and you will crash. And so you need to be prepared for that. And when you do crash, you can go here and then go report bug. And this is really important. This dialog will pop up automatically if you crash and then you reboot. It's really important to send them your bug report, because they're a small team at VDMX and they don't have every possible configuration of hardware and software. So they don't always know, they can't necessarily anticipate any of the things that are going to happen. So it's very helpful. And if you are having crashes, then you don't know what's happening, feel free to use the VDMX team to help you, because you can write to them, and if they don't get back to you right away, you can write to them and you say, hey, I sent you a crash report at 3 p.m. on Friday, and I really don't know what's going on with this. Is there any way you can look at it and tell me, what's holding me up here? And they probably will get back to you. They're a small team, but they're quite responsive, and they're really invested in making sure that VDMX will become a lot more robust, and it has become incredibly robust over the years. It's astonishing to me how strong and powerful this program is. So once again, VDMX is this extensible design environment for creating a visual instrument. So you can use it as a hub. You could actually do a project where you're basically just using VDMX as a hub to route a whole bunch of other software and machine protocol language, and basically you're just passing signals through VDMX. So VDMX becomes really foundational for building any kind of interactive visual performance rig. And so now next we're going to go in and start looking at all the different components of this interface so that you feel very comfortable working in VDMX right off the bat.